Hey boys and girls, it is week 4, Thursday, April 9th, 2020, remote learning, and we're going to do a little math talk before you are going to start on your Google Slides activity. All right, boys and girls, let's get ready. Oh, it's almost spring break, so let's do this. All right, just a subtle reminder here that we are getting ready for middle school. And yeah, I know all of y'all are practicing on your eyeballs. Me too. As a matter of fact, I did 2 of them. Yeah, they're really sweet. I like those. Also been practicing on my baby faces. Yeah, that's real cute. Okay, well, what I want to talk about really are these 2 strategies that you've been working on in Google Slides. Strategy 1 for dividing by a decimal number. Write down the problem, line up the decimals, then divide, and then check does it need a 0. And then the second strategy that you learned or worked with is the decimal dance partners. And that simply was making sure that both of the numbers had a decimal point in them. Next, you do the decimal dance, which meant that the decimal partners dance to the right together. And then you're going to have a new division problem to write, and then you do the division. Okay, so we're going to try both of those because these 2 strategies deal with the different type of decimal problems you're going to see. So one type of decimal problem you're going to see, let me turn this light off. It's too much glare. One type of decimal problem you're going to see is when you have a decimal number that's divided by a whole number, like 3 5/10 divided by the whole number 5. All right, or you could have a decimal number that's divided by another decimal number. Let's say we had 3 5/10 divided by 5/10. All right, now these, even though they all have the same digits in them, there are different problems because the value of these numbers are different. All right, and then the third situation you could have a whole number that's being divided by a decimal number. And so the 2 different situations you can have is a decimal divided by a whole number, you're dividing by a whole number, or a decimal that's being divided by a decimal number. All right, so let's try a couple of these and decide, are we going to have to use the strategy to line up the decimals, or are we going to have to do a decimal dance? All right, let's start with this problem. If you have your paper, go ahead and write down. We're going to divide 21 by 7/10. All right, and I can see that I am going to divide the number 21, so that's going to go in the box. And I'm going to divide it by 7/10. All right, so this is a situation of having a whole number divided by a decimal number. Okay, so if I am going to do that, am I going to line up or decimal dance? Well, this is a decimal dance problem because I am dividing by a decimal number. So the first thing I need to do is make sure that both of my numbers have decimals. I'm going to put the decimal point following the 21. And now I'm getting ready to do the decimal dance. Both decimal points shift to the right together. All right, so this one shifts to the right, that's times 10. And this one is going to shift to the right, and I'm going to have to annex a 0. Now that means my decimal point moves over one place here. And then I'm going to put it up into my quotient. All right, now I'm ready to do long division. Now the strategy suggests that you rewrite the problem with those new numbers. So if you want to rewrite it, you would rewrite 210 with a decimal point at the end, and 7, or just 07. Will 7 go into 2? No. Will 7 go into 21? Yes, it will. So I know my answer, my quotient is going to start over the 1. 7 goes into 21 3 times. 3 times 7 is 21. Subtract. Bring down my 0. If I bring down that 0, I'm going to have to go through that division step again. 7 goes into 0 times, which is 0 times 7 is 0, and I have 0 left over. All right, and I have nothing left to bring down. I could put a decimal point there, or I could just leave it the whole number 30. They both do the same thing. All right, so when I have to divide 21 by 7/10, I had to do the decimal dance. Why did I do the decimal dance? Because my divisor had a decimal point in it. All right, let's look at another problem like that we can solve together. All right, so I want to solve the problem 9.5 divided by 5. 9 5/10 divided by 5. All right, is this going to be a strategy of lining up the decimal point, or are we going to do a decimal dance? Well, in this situation, I see that my divisor is a whole number, and I have a decimal number inside the dividend. So I know I'm going to just do line up. So I'm going to take the decimal point and I'm going to line it up into the answer of the quotient. And now I'm going to divide. 5 will go into 9 one time. 1 times 5 is 5. I subtract. I have 4 left over. I'm going to bring down my 5. 5 will go into 45 9 times. So I'll put a 9 up in the quotient. 9 times 5 is 45, and I have 0 left over. So I can see that my answer is going to be 1 9/10. We're going to do one more. Okay, and this is a more difficult problem that we have here, but when we look at it, we have to make a decision. Am I going to just do line up the decimals, or am I going to do the decimal dance? Well, I can see I am dividing with a 5 9/10 divisor. So if my divisor has a decimal point in it, I'm going to have to do the decimal dance. I'm going to make sure both my numbers have a decimal point, and both my numbers do have a decimal point. So now I'm ready to do the decimal partner dance, and both of those are going to shift to the right one place value position. All right, so technically I'm multiplying by 10 there. I'm moving it over and making it 10 times larger, so I have to do the same thing to my dividend. I'm going to move that decimal point over into that new spot, making it 10 times larger, and now I can do that division just like this is a whole number divisor. All right, I'm going to go straight up on that decimal point. And I'm not going to rewrite my problem this time because I think I can clearly see what I'm doing here. All right, the first thing I'm going to say is, will 59 go into 52? No, it will not. Will 59 go into 525? Yes, it will. So I know my answer is going to start over top of the 5. All right, now I'm going to start myself off with an estimate. I know that 525 is almost like 59 times 10. So I'm going to drop that down to 8 or 9 and try that for a product. I'm going to multiply 59 times 8. So go ahead and write that down and multiply it with me. 8 times 9 is 72. 8 times 5 is 40, plus 7 more is 47. All right, so 59 will go into 525. I'm going to try 8 times. So I'm going to put an 8 in my quotient. I know 8 times 59 is 472. I'm going to subtract it. 5 minus 2 is 3. 2 minus 7, I can't do that. I'm going to have to come over here and I'm going to have to regroup. Make that 4, make this 12, and 12 minus 7 is 5, and then 4 minus 4 is 0, so I have 53. I have a 1 that I need to bring down, so I'm going to bring down that 1. Now 59 will go into 531 about how many times? All right, well I know that 59 times 8 is 472, so I'm going to bump it up 1. I'm going to adjust my estimate. I had thinking about 8 here, but now I'm going to adjust it up and try a 9. So 59 times 9. I know 9 times 9 is 81. 9 times 5 is 45, plus 8 more is 53. All right, well that's exactly what I need. It's always a coincidence when they work out perfectly like that. All right, so I know that 59 will go into 531 9 times. So I'm going to put a 9 in the quotient. 9 times 59 is 531. I have 0 left over, so I am finished with that division problem. Okay, boys and girls, I hope that helps with what you're going to be doing today and the week following spring break, more decimal division. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye.